We are now talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. What's up, Mackey? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm a little lost. You know, Speedy's always wrong. I'm always right. I mean, this is a good thing for this show. So, as long as there's a bad guy in me and a good guy not in Speedy, we're good. So, how are you and your family doing with this pandemic?
We're making it. Had a lot of things we had to overcome. A lot of learn new ways to train and everything, but it's coming along.
Did you gain any weight? I mean, a lot of people gained weight over COVID-19. I'm sure you eating your Cheetos, your gummy bears. You're trying to gain some weight. I mean, a lot of our recruits say they're just stuffing their faces. What have you been doing with this pandemic?
During this pandemic, I've lost 7% body fat and gained 25 pounds of muscle.
Wow, look at you, man. I mean, you're breaking the laws, man. You're breaking the laws of COVID-19. That's a good thing. I mean, I'm not breaking the laws. I'm not breaking the laws on radio, but I'm breaking the laws in some other ways. But anyways, as you guys know, we are talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. Now, Mackey, I'm sure there were a few teams reaching out to you when they were recruiting you, and I want to know what made you decide to choose the University of Louisiana out of all the different schools that were reaching out to you and recruiting you.
So first off, I don't know if you saw this, but in the draft they had 2 second and fourth round draft picks. One went to the Dolphins, one went to the Steelers, and that just shows that there's NFL talent and coaches that can get you to the next level after college. And then I've had a long talk with my family. We felt the time was right to commit and get ready to play at UL.
As you guys know, we are talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. And by the way, the Islanders just lost, so I am pissed off, Mackey. I am completely pissed off. That is 2 games in a row that the Islanders lose, and now it's going to game number 7. And you know what that means? That means failure to the New York Islanders. So I'm not a happy man now. So if you see me smack Speedy in the back of the head, you know why I'm doing it. Anyways, as you guys know, we are interviewing a very, very good recruit, a University of Louisiana offensive lineman, Mackey Maillho. Now, Mackey, I look at the offensive line position, and it's a treacherous position because you got to be strong. You have to be a leader at that line, and you have to work with 5 guys, and it doesn't work well with one guy doing one thing. You have to work as one. When you look at the position as a whole and as the tackle that you are as an offensive lineman, what makes the game so different and so difficult being an offensive lineman?
Well, and at high school right now, I'm playing offensive guard because that's what fits better with our high school offense. But in tackle, I'm being recruited as in college, I'm being recruited as a tackle. And in order for the O-line to work, the whole O-line got to work together. There can't be just one leader, one person saying everything. It has to be a whole flow.
So, again, what are some of the biggest differences? You play both tackle and guards between both the concepts you got to do and just the technique. What do the coaches stress out to you most, both at your high school level and what you've heard from the Raging Cajun coaches so far?
So when I'm playing that guard, I gotta travel width-wise, not depth, because I got to keep as much space as I can between the center and the tackle. And if I'm playing tackle, I'm mostly out there on the island by myself, so I got to be speedy and quick with my feet.
Well, I'm quick with my feet. I like kicking Speedy under the table. That's why I'm quick.
Me under the table, the equipment would fall.
Well, that's not true. I mean, there's no equipment under the table. How is the equipment going to fall, Speedy? Does that make any sense?
Because if you hit the table, it could go that way.
Well, I'm not hitting the table. I'm hitting you. How am I hitting the table if I'm kicking you under the table? How?
All right.
I mean, what kind of sense is that? By the way, we are talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. Now, Mackey, I look at the game, and you're playing – there are a lot of different teams in the country. There's the SEC, you have Alabama, you have LSU, you have Ohio State Buckeyes. You have all these different teams and different people. And we've interviewed a ton of recruits, some of the best recruits in the country. And a lot of them told me – a lot of them weren't SEC players. I mean, if you look at the top 60 recruits that we interviewed, I think we might have interviewed in the top 60 maybe 5 SEC recruits, and the rest are Big Ten.
We've got a lot of Pac-12.
Pac-12. I mean, it's crazy how a lot of these top recruits are deciding not to go to the SEC, maybe because there's a little bit more pressure, a little bit more competition over there. What was the reason on why you went to Louisiana out of all the different colleges that were interested in recruiting you?
The ability to play. When you get to that SEC level, Pac-10, or just a bigger level of colleges,
right?
The pressure to play and the pressure to become the best you can it's kind of like an overload. And like with LSU and Alabama, they got like the top of the top 5-star, top 5 O linemen in the country committed there, so they can play. They're the best and have the most chance of playing. I was only graded a 3-star a couple months ago, and being able to play at UL gave me the chance to get recognized easily and better chance to make it to the NFL, hopefully.
So they have a coach in Billy Napier who's been very successful so far in his 4 years there. He has 2 bowl game appearances. What about his coaching style and also just, again, his mantra, his personality helped make your decision easier to go to this program?
Well, when I first met him at a recruiting game, I forget what game it was, but he was super cool. I love the way he just interacts with everybody, and he wants to learn you and get to know you the best way so you can become the best player, and he can help you with that. I haven't really seen his coaching style that much, but we went over a couple of plays, and that fit me really well, and that helped with me because I learned most of his offense already.
As you guys know, we are talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. By the way, would your coach help recruit and coach this guy right beside me? Because this guy makes a ton of mistakes. He needs a little bit of practice, maybe being yelled at and being called all these different names in the locker room.
What have I done
wake
today?
him up. I don't know. You just look funny today. I don't know what it is, man.
Okay, well,
you look funny. I just, when I walked through the door and I walked into the studio, I just wanted to throw a dart at your face. It's maybe because the Islanders lost, or maybe I'm just in a bad mood. But we do have a very special guest, so I'm a little bit happy, but a little bit off today because I just can't stand the mistakes that you make, Speedy. But that's just you.
I haven't done anything today, but okay.
No, not yet. But I Mackey, he does enough. He does enough, and he says a little. He does enough. I mean, look at him. I mean, he looks like a kind, collective kid. But all in all, sometimes I just want to take, this lens cleaner right over here that I wash my computers with and beat him on the head with it. Or spray him with something. Speedy, what do you think?
That'll be the new weapon when you ask him that question.
Yeah, what can I say? Anyways, when you look at the offensive line position, and it's the most important position because you're protecting the most important player on the field, and that's the quarterback. When you look at University of Louisiana's quarterback position, does it stand out to you knowing that you're going to be a recruit and you're going to be protecting the quarterback for the next 2 years over there in Louisiana?
It does, yes. That's a big responsibility to put on the tackles, especially the blind side of the quarterback, and it's the greatest and most nerve-wracking responsibility you can get. You don't get all the limelight, or you don't get all the accolades or the awards or anything, but that quarterback knows that they're protecting you, so he can play his best and we can win the games. Did your
starting quarterback actually reach out to you and talk to you about the season coming up?
We've had a couple conversations. Last year was his first big year out and my first big year out of branching out and getting some attention to us, and him realizing at the end of our season at Houghton, he realized that he had a great line return and that he's ready for us to help him show up this year.
So I was talking about this to you off air before the show. And,
were you talking about something different, unique?
It is different and unique.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. Let's hear it.
My best friend in college, like I told you earlier.
I don't want to hear it. It's not a good question.
He goes to Louisiana, and he was telling me about their coach doing something very unique where his players donate some money to the Athletic Foundation. Now, we've seen some controversy on whether players should get paid in college sports. And now you have
that's a good question.
You have Billy Napier who wants to help them donate and be selfless with these. Do you think that's something that is a lesson for them, both with football and off the field as well? And again, is that something that you could see other teams do in the future as well?
Definitely, because football, it takes a lot of resources, but if you can help spread those resources everywhere else, that help everywhere.
First of all, the players should be getting paid. I don't care what anybody says. I believe college players should be getting paid. If they're only playing 2 years of college football and then putting themselves into the NFL draft and they're not living out their college scholarships, they should get paid every single dime, every single year that their college scholarships cost. So let's say they're playing and they're going to a school that it costs about $60,000 or $70,000 to go to. If they do not live out their scholarship and they go to the NFL draft, they should be given that $70,000 each year that they're playing. Because if you look, in my eyes, when you're going to a ball game, what does the college make out of that ball? $10 million, $15 million? Where does it go? It goes to the school. Why does it go to the school? Because of the players. They earn that right. So I believe that the players should get something out of that. Because if they're only playing 2 years of college football and they're going to go into the NFL draft, they should get their money, because you can't go back to the school and finish up your scholarship, because once you leave, your scholarship is gone. You're not getting rewarded for a scholarship. You know what I mean? And that's the whole thing. That's why I think the players should get paid. And I think there has to be a transition in the college game. They should. And if not that way, you should be allowed to go and sign autographs and get paid that way. I think that players should get paid. It's not fair to them, and I think it's wrong with the NCAA. This is a multi-billion-dollar organization, and they're putting all the money in their pockets while the players are risking their lives every day. I beg to differ. I don't want to hear about scholarships. These players don't even play out their scholarships. I would say about maybe 50-50 live out their scholarships. The other 50 go into the NFL and try to make money to pay for their family, buy a house for their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, and try to live a better life. So I beg to differ. I think the NCAA needs to change it. As you guys know, we are talking to University of Louisiana offensive line recruit Mackey Maillho. Now, Mackey, I look at the game and the transition of the offensive linemen. We've talked to a lot of offensive line recruits, some of the top offensive line recruits in the country. And I've asked them the same question. When you look at the offensive line position and how athletic you guys are, we just saw one go to the New York Jets, Mackey Beckham, who everybody was saying he's a beast, 365 pounds, 6'8", and could run a 40 in almost 5 seconds flat. And I heard that he actually ran in 4.8, not at the combine, but after his pro day, he ran in 4.8. Okay, this is a man. He's built like a behemoth, and these players are beasts. And I don't know how tall you are. What are you? 6'4", 300? 6'8". You're 6'8". Okay, 6'8", 350 pounds, right?
365, just like him.
Oh, okay. And wow. What do you run? And what do you run the 40 in?
5'4".
There you go. I mean, this is a 370-pound man who runs, and he's 6'8", same size as Mackey Beckham, and he runs it in a 5'4". I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I think a guy that size would probably run it in 5'9", 6 flat. So you're running it 5-6 seconds flat. 0.6 seconds faster than some of the best offensive linemen in NFL history. Orlando Pace, I think, ran in at 6'4". Okay? And that's one of the best offensive linemen, one of the best tackles to ever play the game. So you're more athletic, more talented, and really just bigger and stronger. When you look at the game, the transition of the game, do you think because of that, the offensive line position is going to transition the game for the better or for the worse?
Definitely for the better. One of my coaches at school referred to the offensive line and the defensive line as big skill, because we have a skill set that nobody else has. We have this speed, strength, and agility to move 5, 20, and even like a 40-yard run with the running back behind us blocking him. I think it would help.